Medika is a virgin loser who never ever felt the touch of a girl before, just like you. But his peaceful life is changed when the hottest girl fall for him. He always tries to ignore her, but she wants him in the bed so he can clap her. Ever since she was little, Mona has been known as the beautiful and charming girl that everyone adores. Now that she's older, she's even more gorgeous. Wherever she goes, people can't help but stare at her. At school, Mona is the queen of popularity. Everyone knows her, and every guy dreams of getting her attention. But then there's the new student in her class, Medika. For some strange reason, he doesn't seem interested in her at all. Mona greets him and even gives him special treatment, something she never does for anyone else. But Medika doesn't react like every other guy. Instead, he stays completely calm. This really annoys Mona. She can't understand why her charm isn't working. In her mind, any guy should instantly fold when a beauty like her is standing right beside him. A little later, Mona notices Medika scrolling through pictures of cats on his phone. Realizing he likes cats, she immediately starts acting like a cute little kitten to grab his attention.
Meow.
She even offers to show him her own cat. Everyone watching thinks she's adorable, but Medika casually replies that he doesn't like seafood. His answer completely ignores all the effort Mona put in, making everyone else furious for disrespecting their precious goddess. Meanwhile, Mona is even angrier. Ever since she was a child, people have always praised and admired her. Being ignored like this is something she's never experienced before, and it actually hurts. Still, giving up isn't her style. She starts thinking of new ways to make Medika notice her. This time, she boldly shows off her charms right in front of him. But instead of being impressed, Medika just looks disappointed. Not ready to lose, Mona even accidentally falls in front of him to show off even more. Unfortunately, Medika only looks even more uncomfortable, making Mona even more frustrated. Eventually, she comes up with another plan. During classes, she pretends to feel sick and asks Medika to take her to the nurse's office. The whole class is shocked because Medika just got the once-in-a-lifetime chance to be alone with the school's most popular girl. Once they arrive at the nurse's office, Mona makes her move. She slowly corners him, hoping her cuteness will finally make him fall for her. For a moment, it actually seems to work when Medika starts getting flustered, but he quickly calms himself down. Not willing to give up, Mona raises the stakes. She grabs him while talking, but both of them suddenly lose their balance and fall onto the bed together, making the situation extremely awkward. Mona realizes she may have pushed things too far just to get his attention, especially after seeing how annoyed he looks. Medika tries his best to stay calm. That only makes Mona even more desperate. She goes all out, hoping her biggest charms will finally make him fall for her.
Oh my God!
But even that doesn't work. Frustrated, she throws a little tantrum and almost slips off the bed. Luckily, Medika catches her at the last second and pulls her back toward him.
Beautiful!
Both of them end up blushing. Even so, Medika pulls away and decides to return to class. Before leaving, he tells her that she should use her charm on someone she actually likes. That single sentence hits Mona harder than she expected. For the first time in her life, the girl who always made others fall for her feels like she's the one who got played. A few hours later, Mona returns to class and thanks Medika for helping her earlier. Then she notices him quietly looking at her, almost as if he can't stop staring. Suddenly, she gets nervous. Something feels different this time. Her heart starts beating faster and she doesn't understand why. When she looks back at him, Medika quickly looks away and pretends nothing happened. That only makes Mona blush even more. At that moment, she realizes the truth. She's starting to fall for Medika. From that day on, Mona promises herself that she'll win Medika's heart, no matter what it takes. The next day, everything seems normal. Students greet Mona as usual and she responds with her signature smile and charm. But when she meets Medika, she tries talking to him and playfully teases him a little. Even then, he stays as calm and cold as ever. Now, Mona can't stop wondering what she's doing wrong. Later, during PE class, the boys can't stop staring at Mona while she stretches. They're completely distracted by her. Mona takes the chance to invite Medika to stretch with her while teasing him once again. But Medika remains completely unfazed. Watching this, all the other guys get annoyed at him for ignoring the attention they would gladly die to receive. Mona is seriously starting to struggle. She feels like she's already tried everything, but nothing works. At this point, she doesn't even care how far she has to go. Her only goal is to make Medika fall for her. After PE class, Mona decides to use her hot and sweaty look to grab his attention. She even shows off her belly button, hoping that will finally do the trick. But Medika still ignores her like a true saint. That completely destroys Mona's confidence. For the first time in her life, she's dealing with a guy who refuses to fall for her charms. Later, Mona follows Medika to the sink area while he's washing up. She joins him, and while she's drinking water from the faucet, Medika suddenly blushes. Mona notices it immediately. She gets excited, thinking she's finally making progress. But then things take a weird turn when she accidentally splashes water water all over herself, making the situation even more awkward. Embarrassed, Mona quickly crouches down. To her surprise, Medica immediately offers her his shirt to help cover up. This time, it's Mona who gets flustered after seeing his bare stomach. She thanks him and Medica quietly walks away. What neither of them realizes is that another girl saw the whole thing. After school, Medica starts panicking when he remembers the shirt he lent Mona smells like his sweaty gym clothes. He quickly tries to calm himself down. Soon after, some classmates confront him. They ask why Mona keeps trying to get close to him and why he keeps treating her so coldly. They're curious, and honestly pretty jealous too. Medica doesn't seem to care. Instead, he takes them to a nearby park and finally tells them the truth. He's actually the heir to a cat temple. Because of his family's beliefs, he's not supposed to get close to girls, and he honestly doesn't even know how to talk to them. Still, deep down, Medica admits that a girl like Mona is incredibly rare. The only girls like her he's ever seen were on TV, and part of him really wants to get closer to her. But every time those thoughts appear, he forces himself to clear his mind. Watching him repeatedly fight his own thoughts is honestly enough to freak the other guys out. Medica reminds himself that he came to Tokyo hoping for a peaceful and normal school life. Instead, he met Mona, a girl who's completely turned his world upside down. The next day, Mona returns his shirt. She playfully asks if he likes her scent better now that it was on his shirt. When she sees him struggling to stay calm again, she becomes even more determined to make him fall for her. Later, during art class, Medica and Mona end up paired together. Mona becomes his model, happily posing while secretly hoping to become his very own French girl. Everyone enjoys watching her cute poses. Meanwhile, Mona is trying her hardest to get inside Medica's head, constantly teasing him and even telling him to make sure he draws all her curves. Deep down, she's still thinking about how to win him over. For some reason, she feels like today might finally be the day. She remembers how Medica got flustered when she drank water before, so she starts posing in ways that show off her charm even more. Medica immediately starts blushing and gets incredibly nervous. But instead of giving in, he focuses even harder and clears his mind again. The more Mona pushes, the more Medica pulls away, making her even more frustrated. While posing, Mona notices another girl quietly watching them. She ignores it at first because Medica is looking at her too, but then she realizes something. He's not staring at her the way every other guy does. He's carefully studying her neck so he can draw it properly. That tiny detail hits Mona much harder than she expected. Her face turns bright red, her heart starts pounding. She can't believe what's happening. Just from the way Medica is looking at her, she's getting butterflies. For the first time in her life, Mona feels like she's genuinely falling in love. Unable to handle those feelings, she suddenly runs to the bathroom, pretending she feels sick. She tries calming herself down, but she can't stop thinking about the way Medica looked at her. It made her heart race, and she secretly liked it. Back in the classroom, Medica finishes Mona's portrait. The guys are amazed by how beautiful and detailed the drawing is. But Medica immediately clears his mind again, reminding himself that admiring someone like that goes against his beliefs. Later, Medica accidentally runs into Mona at the library. Both of them reach for the same book at exactly the same time, and their hands touch. For a brief moment, everything feels completely still. But instead of making it a romantic moment, Medica simply lets Mona have the book and quietly walks away. Come on, man. Seeing another opportunity, Mona decides to read the book together with him. While they're there, she notices the same girl from earlier, Tsubomi, watching them again. At first, Mona wonders why she's staring. Then, she quickly realizes that Tsubomi is actually looking at Medica. That's when Mona figures out that Tsubomi has feelings for him too. Almost instantly, Mona feels jealous, and she starts wondering if Medica's ideal girl is someone like Tsubomi, quiet, modest, and sweet. That thought makes Mona even more determined. She decides to stop holding back completely. The next day, Mona changes her style. She puts on glasses and acts like a shy, nerdy girl just to see how Medica reacts. Sure enough, Medica gets flustered again. Mona smiles, thinking she's finally making real progress. But only a second later, Medica regains his composure. He becomes serious again and quietly walks away. Mona is left completely speechless.
No! God, please, no!
She honestly has no idea what else she can do. To make things worse, she notices Tsubomi looking strangely satisfied, almost like she's happy that Mona got rejected. That stings. Over the next few days, Mona keeps observing Tsubomi. She realizes that although Tsubomi looks simple and plain, she's very modest and has her own natural charm. That makes Mona worry she might actually lose to another girl. Just then, one of Mona's admirers, Sho, walks over and hands her a book. Mona thanks him in an extra cute voice. Suddenly, an idea pops into her head. That cute voice could become her newest weapon. Without wasting any time, she heads to the rooftop where Medica is relaxing. She accidentally lets her handkerchief fly away, hoping he'll catch it. As expected, Medica catches it. Mona thanks him using that same adorable voice and starts teasing him again, hoping to get even closer. But when she tries to say something more serious, she completely freezes. She can't even bring herself to say the word word love. At that exact moment, a strong gust of wind blows past them and almost lifts her skirt. Completely embarrassed, Mona panics and runs away, not only because of the wardrobe mishap, but because she realizes she might not actually be ready to confess her feelings to Medica yet. A few days later, the class begins choosing committee members for the upcoming event. The school festival is getting closer, but Mona is still frustrated. Months have already passed, and she still hasn't managed to make Medica fall for her. Soon, Mona gets chosen as a festival committee member and ends up working together with Tsubomi. The two of them sit down to discuss the festival, and to Mona's surprise, everything goes smoothly at first. While they're talking, Mona quietly tries to figure out how Tsubomi feels about Medica. She even tells Tsubomi about her previous school festival, and Tsubomi listens with genuine excitement. Suddenly, Mona accidentally breaks her pen. Without hesitation, Tsubomi lends her another one. Later, when Mona tries to return it, Tsubomi suddenly panics. She nervously explains that there's nothing important on her phone, but she especially didn't want Mona to be the one to see what was inside. That only makes Mona even more curious. So she starts chasing Tsubomi around the classroom, demanding to see her phone. In the middle of the chaos, Mona accidentally blurts out that Medica is the only guy she's interested in. Eventually, Mona gets hold of the phone. What she finds completely shocks her. The phone is filled with pictures of Mona. Blushing, Tsubomi admits that she's been a huge fan of Mona ever since they first met, but was always too shy to tell her. Mona is speechless. Instead of getting upset, she smiles and immediately gives Tsubomi a hug, forgiving her on the spot, even though the number of photos is honestly a little scary. Afterward, Mona awkwardly tries to cover herself by claiming that the Medica she mentioned was actually a fish. Unfortunately for her, Tsubomi already knows she has feelings for Medica. Tsubomi starts teasing her about everything, from the nurse's office incident to all the little moments they've shared. Mona turns bright red and can't deny any of it. In the end, though, Tsubomi promises she'll support Mona's love life. The next day, everyone is busy preparing for the upcoming school festival. As a committee member, Mona takes her job seriously and focuses on making sure everything goes well. Because of that, she ends up spending much more time with Tsubomi, which feels surprisingly nice. A little later, Tsubomi comes over with some good news, but she also catches Mona staring at Medica again. Seeing that, Tsubomi jokingly tells her to stop hesitating and just confess already. Mona instantly gets flustered. She quickly denies everything, annoyed that Tsubomi completely misunderstood her. In Mona's mind, she's supposed to be the one making people fall for her, not the one falling in love herself. Now she's starting to wonder if she's losing her charm. Later, Mona and Tsubomi begin trying on different costumes for the festival. While changing outfits, Tsubomi tells Mona about a famous school legend called the Bridge of Love. According to the story, if a boy and a girl hold hands while crossing the bridge, they'll stay in love forever. The moment Mona hears that, her brain immediately starts making plans. She knows she has to make her move before someone else wins Medica's heart. She starts trying on different outfits that might catch his attention. Eventually, she chooses a bunny costume, but it's much more revealing than she expected, making her feel embarrassed. Just then, Medica accidentally walks into the room. Mona freezes after realizing he just saw her wearing the outfit. Meanwhile, Medica had only come to deliver some papers and has no idea what's going on. At that moment, Mona hears Tsubomi getting closer. Without thinking, she grabs Medica and pulls him into a nearby storage closet to avoid causing a misunderstanding. Now they're both trapped inside the tiny space together.
Oh my God! Wow!
The closet is so cramped that they're standing almost shoulder to shoulder. Realizing how close they are, Mona's face turns bright red. Meanwhile, Medica starts silently praying to keep himself calm. Hearing his voice so close to her makes Mona struggle not to laugh. Eventually, Tsubomi leaves, and the two of them finally step out of the closet. Mona assumes Medica must be panicking too. Instead, he simply lets out a calm sigh as if nothing happened. That somehow frustrates Mona even more. She starts worrying that seeing her in the bunny outfit might have made him think badly of her. Then, completely out of nowhere, Medica quietly tells her she looks cute. Mona is left completely speechless. Embarrassed by his own words, Medica quickly walks away. He knows those feelings go against everything he believes in, but he also can't deny that his heart was racing. The next morning, Mona arrives at school fully convinced that Medica has finally fallen for her. She happily greets him with her usual smile, but Medica simply gives her a cold look and walks past her. Mona is completely shocked, especially after what happened yesterday. A few days later, the school festival finally begins. Mona's class becomes a huge hit thanks to their bunny cafe, with Mona being the biggest attraction. During a break, she visits Medica, who's helping in the kitchen. She asks him to have lunch with her. Instead, Medica keeps focusing on preparing food and refuses to take a break. Mona quickly realizes he's still embarrassed about calling her cute. Now she wants to tease him about it, but Medica's self-control is stronger than Gojo's domain expansion. No matter what she tries, he refuses to give in. Just then, Tsubomi suddenly appears and orders Medica to go outside and help promote the cafe with Mona. He's completely caught off guard. Meanwhile, Mona is secretly celebrating because this is exactly the opportunity she wanted. Soon, the two of them are walking around the school together in matching bunny costumes while advertising their class. As they pass different festival attractions, Mona slowly starts relaxing. Then, without warning, Medica decides to enter the haunted house. The problem is that Mona absolutely hates scary things. It's the last place she wants to go. But because Medica is going inside, she forces herself to follow him while pretending she's totally fearless. The moment Mona steps inside the haunted house, she screams after seeing a fake ghost. As if that wasn't bad enough, her skirt gets caught on one of the props, forcing her to rely on Medica to help her. Meanwhile, Medica is actually having a great time. Haunted places remind him of home, so none of the scares bother him at all. Then he suddenly feels Mona tugging on his sleeve. When he turns around, he realizes her skirt has been caught and lifted. Both of them freeze for a second before quickly fixing the situation and rushing out of the haunted house together. After that disaster, Mona decides she's done letting Medica choose where they go. Instead, she starts dragging him around the festival herself. Somehow, though, everything keeps going wrong. Nothing turns out the way she imagined. Her goal was to make Medica's heart race. Instead, every plan ends up embarrassing her instead. At this point, she has no idea what to do anymore. Then she realizes they've arrived at the Bridge of Love, the same place Tsubomi told her about earlier. Mona remembers the legend of the bridge. As she looks around, she notices people whispering and wondering if she and Medica are actually dating. That immediately worries her. If rumors start spreading around school, things could get messy really fast. Luckily, Mona quickly comes up with a plan. She starts promoting her class to all the couples gathered around the bridge instead. The guys nearby instantly relax after hearing that Mona and Medica aren't dating, and many of them head straight to her class. Once the crowd starts clearing out, Mona tells Medica about the Bridge of Love. Then she suddenly pretends to trip, hoping he'll grab her hand and help her up. Instead, Medica completely catches her off guard by lifting her up without holding her hand at all. Mona is left speechless after he accidentally grabs her under the arms to help her. As the festival slowly comes to an end, Mona realizes she's running out of time. She believes this was her last chance. But before she can do anything else, their classmates rush over and tell them they need help because the classroom has become incredibly crowded. Just like that, the festival ends, and once again, Mona fails to make Medica fall for her. Tsubomi notices right away that things didn't go as Mona had hoped, so she steps in and confidently tells Medica to help Mona move the desks. Everyone is surprised to see Tsubomi acting so boldly. What they don't realize is that she's secretly trying to help Mona get closer to him. Medica immediately starts helping move the desks. By this point, however, Mona is completely exhausted. She can't even force herself to smile anymore. Seeing that worries Medica. An awkward silence fills the room. Unable to stand it any longer, Mona tries starting a conversation about the festival, but Medica doesn't answer. That only makes her even more frustrated. Then, all of a sudden, Mona accidentally bumps into a stack of boxes that almost falls on top of her. Medica quickly stops the boxes before grabbing her hands to pull her to safety. It's only a brief touch. But then, Mona suddenly realizes something. They're standing on the Bridge of Love. She tells herself the legend probably doesn't count anymore since the festival is already over. Medica agrees. Even so, both of them are secretly blushing. Trying to break the awkward silence, Medica finally speaks. He admits that he actually had a lot of fun at the festival because of Mona. It was the first time he'd ever enjoyed something like that. Hearing those words instantly brings a smile back to Mona's face. The next morning, Mona walks to school with Tsubomi. Tsubomi is eager to hear what happened between her and Medica after the festival. Before Mona can answer, Medica and his friends walk past them. Mona instantly hides out of embarrassment. She's still flustered over everything that happened. A few seconds later, she pulls herself together and acts like nothing happened. On the way to class, Sho invites Mona and Tsubomi to go bowling after school. The moment Mona hears that Medica will be there too, she immediately agrees. To her, this is another perfect chance to win him over. Later, everyone meets at the bowling alley. The group starts playing together. Mona scores a few good throws and happily goes around giving everyone high fives. Everyone gets one, except Medica. He's still acting awkward around her, so Mona walks right up and asks him for a high five too. The moment Medica raises his hand, Mona suddenly remembers what happened on the Bridge of Love. She immediately panics and runs away. What she doesn't realize is that Medica is just as flustered as she is. To calm himself down, Medica starts reminding himself about his temple training, doing everything he can to stay focused. Then Mona suddenly sits down beside him. She notices him drinking something. Without asking, she casually takes his cup and drinks from it herself, fully aware that it's technically an indirect kiss. While everyone else keeps bowling, Mona continues drinking from his cup. Both of them end up blushing like crazy. Mona becomes convinced that Medica has finally fallen for her, but to her surprise, he still acts completely calm. He simply hands her the entire drink and quietly walks off to take his turn. He's actually trying to hide how flustered he is. Unfortunately, he's so distracted that he throws one of the worst shots of the day. A few days later, Mona arrives at school wearing her winter uniform. It immediately catches everyone's attention. She even teases Medica about it. As usual, usual, he barely reacts. Seeing that nothing has changed, Mona quietly returns to her seat, feeling completely defeated. Tsubomi and the others notice her mood right away and realize something has to be done. Meanwhile, Medica gets confronted by Sho and Yuzuru. They're annoyed by how cold he keeps acting, especially after seeing how hard Mona has been trying all this time. Sho points out that Medica keeps hurting Mona's feelings by refusing to respond to her. Then Yuzuru takes a calmer approach. He tells Medica that even if he wants to stay devoted to his temple training, that doesn't mean he has to treat people so coldly. Those words stay in Medica's mind. Later, while walking back to class, Medica is stopped by Tsubomi in the hallway. She directly calls him out for the way he's been treating Mona. She even raises her voice enough for other students nearby to notice. Hearing her words makes Medica seriously rethink everything. So later, when Medica notices that Mona forgot her textbook, without saying much, he offers to share his with her. Mona is completely surprised because this is the first time Medica has ever made the first move on his own. She happily sits beside him. But the moment she does, Medica starts panicking and almost goes back to acting cold again. Then he notices Sho and Tsubomi watching him from nearby, silently telling him to do better. So Medica pushes through his awkwardness and properly sits next to Mona while sharing the textbook. For the first time in a long while, Mona sees Medica genuinely being kind to her again. It brings a real smile to her face. Seeing her smile instantly makes Medica flustered. Still, he reminds himself that no matter what happens, he can't let himself fall for her. A few days later, Mona wakes up expecting warm sunshine outside her window. Instead, she hears the sound of rain. The gloomy weather immediately puts her in a bad mood. But on her walk to school, something slowly changes. The reflections on the streets, the peaceful atmosphere, and the sound of the rain all start to feel strangely beautiful. They remind her of Medica. Just thinking about him makes her smile a little. Suddenly, she runs into Medica on the way to school. She learns that he gave his umbrella away to a family of cats. Hearing that almost makes her blush because it's such a kind thing to do. But she quickly reminds herself of her mission, to make Medica fall for her first. Realizing this is the perfect opportunity, Mona asks him to share her umbrella. At first, Medica refuses. Then he remembers everyone telling him to be nicer to Mona, so he finally agrees. As they walk together under the umbrella, Mona is secretly overjoyed. She notices that Medica seems to have a line he refuses to cross. Naturally, she wants to find out where that line is. She slowly leans closer to him. Medica doesn't react at all. Feeling confident, Mona decides to try holding his hand. The moment she does, Medica immediately steps away and chooses to walk in the rain instead. While trying to avoid her, he almost walks straight into a utility pole. Now Mona knows exactly where he draws the line. She calls him back under the umbrella, and together they safely make it to school. Now it's time to wrap up the story. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Till then, peace out.